say, I never got an easy bake oven or even a play kitchen. I played every day at the Achatz Cafe. The culinary industry was his life. He grew up with his grandparents' diner and his parents' restaurant, and he worked there every single day. Grant Achatz decided to go to the Culinary Institute of America in 1993. He was really impressed with the school, but he felt that he was younger than everyone, but he had a passion to be there, and he worked really hard. His first experience outside of working at his parents' restaurant was his externship at Amway Grand Plaza Hotel in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It wasn't his first choice, but he realized that it was what led him to be where he is today. After graduating from culinary school in October 1994, he returned to the Grand Plaza Hotel, and after that he worked at the Trotter's restaurant, where he didn't like what they were doing, so he decided to take a break from working in restaurants. He traveled to Europe. After his travel to Europe, he wasn't really impressed with it, so he went back and worked for his parents for a time. And while he was there, he realized that he really wanted to work for Thomas Keller, which is where he truly found his calling. During his time working for Chef Keller, he decided to take a leave of absence and went to work at a vineyard in the Napa Valley. While he was there, Thomas Keller contacted him and asked him if he wanted to return and be sous chef. He stayed and worked for Chef Keller for 2 years, but even Chef Keller realized that this wasn't the place for Grant Achatz and told him to go to Spain, and Grant Achatz really found his calling when he was there. He really liked what they were doing. He was there for a very short time, but absorbed everything he could from it. When he returned to work for Thomas Keller, he tried to bring more innovative ideas and more progressive cuisine, and it just wasn't Thomas Keller's style, and that's when Grant decided to leave. When he left, he worked at Trio, a 4-star restaurant, which under Grant Achatz became a 5-star restaurant, and after that, he shortly opened his own restaurant. In 2005, he opened Alinea.
So Grant Achatz has had a lot of different people influence his career, his type of cuisine that he has today. Initially, he grew up with his parents being restaurateurs, gained a lot of influence from his parents, being in the kitchen ever since he was a kid. Eventually he went to the CIA, learned a lot there, and he ended up doing one of his extern sites, which really gave him a lot of hands-on experience. Eventually he was introduced to say that he should go and check out Charlie Trotter, that his cuisine would be more up to Grant Achatz' style. So he went, he ended up getting a job with them, but he only worked for them for a short amount of time. Charlie Trotter was definitely not his style. He wasn't never hands-on, and he just never felt the real good vibe, even at this highly appraised restaurant. So he ended up going back to the drawing board, looking for the influence that was going to change his type of cuisine. He went to Europe for a time, and eventually he found his way to the French Laundry and worked for Thomas Keller. So he worked all his way up. He eventually was a sous chef for him. And Thomas Keller's style of making food perfect, the strive for perfection, how he really helped build up the French Laundry to what it was. And Thomas Keller was that huge guy, that kind of mentor for him, that really helped him know about the professionalism, the high quality of food standards. Eventually, Grant was always looking for something new. He ended up working, he went to Spain. Thomas Keller told him that he should go to Spain and go to El Bulli and see Ferran Adria's food, that it was probably up his style, something really futuristic in a sense, something different than what was normal. So he went to Spain, gained this amazing amount of influence from there for 3 days, came back, and he was totally blown away by their restaurant. New techniques, the kitchen wasn't anything like he was used to at the French Laundry. And through these people, Charlie Trotter, Thomas Keller, Ferran Adria, he really gained an influence that he wanted to do something, as he said, different than what was normally being done.
Grant Achatz really introduced a new style of management in a restaurant industry when he opened Alinea and next. He really started from the ground up. The kitchens are built completely differently. Like Ferran Adria, he felt that the open ranges and the ovens were outdated, so he tried to replace all that with induction burners, sous vide, and all sorts of different technological gadgets. He even invented one of his own, the anti-griddle, which allows things that wouldn't normally be able to freeze solid. He even has carpet in his kitchens because he believes his staff should be so precise that they can operate in an environment like that without messing things up. Another innovation that he introduced was how he sells tickets. They're only available online, and they cost about $180 with the wine tasting for the lower range, or $350 for the upper range. One of the things that this allows him to do is ensure that his seats are always sold out, and that allows him, in a down economy, to plan better. He never has to worry about how many seats are going to be filled and how much waste he's going to have.
Alright, so Grant Achatz, he now has 2 restaurants. He has Alinea, and he also has Next. They're both fantastic restaurants. Grant Achatz describes himself as a progressive American cuisine, not a molecular gastronomist. He doesn't really think he's a scientist, but which is more affiliated with molecular gastronomy, but he believes that he's a chef, he creates food, and more, he takes the molecular gastronomy type of cooking and creates an experience. So when you go to Alinea, you can be spending 3, maybe 4 hours there dining over a number of courses, and he's really changed the outlook on how you eat. In a bowl, in a plate. Instead, why don't we use the entire table as a canvas for the food, making food art. And he's really changed the way that you look at eating. You go there, you go to his restaurants, and it's like an entirely different experience. Where you go to a baseball game, you're gonna enjoy this great experience, you're gonna see all these different things, smell different things. Or if you're going to a big play or Broadway, it's an experience, it's a total spectacle, and that's what he tries to implement in his restaurant at Alinea and Next.
In 2007, Grant Achatz was diagnosed with stage 4 tongue cancer. It was really unfortunate because the doctors didn't think he had a good chance of living. He was estimated at a 50% chance of surviving 2 years. Grant Achatz' fear wasn't about dying as much as it was losing his sense of taste because of his love for food. He was against the doctor's ideas of cutting out his tongue. He didn't like that idea. With only a 50% chance of living for 2 years, he said, forget about it. He found a trial where they could scrape the cells off his tongue and burn his tongue, and eventually, if it worked with chemotherapy, he'd be able to taste again, but it would take some time. He was successful, it just took a very long time. Through this time, Grant Achatz couldn't eat anything. He felt sick all the time, and even milkshakes were distasteful to him. But he said losing his taste actually gave him a better ability to be the best chef now, because he got to have his taste start off like a newborn. So when he regained his taste, he started with sweet, and all he could taste were sweet things. And slowly he could taste bitter, and the only things he could differentiate between was sweet and bitter. And salty came in, and then sour, which is the last sense that we as newborns taste. Though he doesn't recommend people lose their sense of taste to do this, he does feel this is what's made him the great chef that he is today.
Alright, so this is Grant Achatz' first book. It was written in 2008. It's Alinea. It's got over 600 recipes and 600 photos. He likes to include these cool color photos so that you can see what you're going to be eating. This is an example of one of his more creative techniques. He actually has lavender scented air inside that pillow, and he'll rest the dish on the pillow so that it slowly diffuses into the room as you eat. This is the second book. It was written in 2011. It covers his life story from where he started out in restaurants, his parents' restaurants, all the way up until he got cancer, and describes the beginning of his restaurants.
Achatz.
I'm Grant Achatz, and you've got taste. We opened Alinea in 2005, and being awarded the best restaurant in America was a tremendous accomplishment. We describe our cuisine as progressive American. We're trying to use all the tools that are available to the modern chef and create an experience that is evocative. Do we really need to put food on a plate? No, we plate it on the table. Can we make floating food? Yeah, we're gonna make an apple balloon that's entirely edible. And you don't have to eat it with a fork or a spoon and on a plate. All of these things that we do are about these emotional triggers. In 2007, I was diagnosed with stage 4B squamous cell carcinoma of the tongue. When I went through that period where I could not taste, you start to create food. Like I was creating dishes when I couldn't taste at all. And you rely on other senses and it becomes more from your core. I had made my entire flavor profile for 30 years and then it just got wiped out. And then it came back incrementally, first sweet, then bitter, then salt, then acid. And as a chef, it's a profound experience. I think for sure going through the tongue cancer has made me a better chef, by far.